The biting wind howled through the shattered pines of the Heroin forest in the winter of 1944. Snow muffled the distant artillery, but not the groans of the wounded. For a young combat medic from Ohio, this frozen landscape was a personal hell. His numb fingers searched his empty satchel. No morphine left, only a useless bandage and hollow comfort. The Heroin forest, called Green Hell, was infamous for brutal fighting and endless casualties. Medics faced impossible choices, rationing what little they had, forced to decide who would get the last dose of relief. They were armed with sulfur powder and syrettes, not rifles, yet their battle was just as fierce. In that forest, the medic could only offer a sip of water and a promise of help, a lie he'd told too many times. This was the grim reality of battlefield medicine, improvisation, heartbreak, and the limits of human endurance. The lessons learned here would shape not just medicine, but our understanding of the human mind. World War II brought injuries on a scale never seen before, and managing pain became a central challenge. Morphine was the gold standard, but demand always outpaced supply. Global conflict disrupted opium trade. Key regions were contested or blockaded, making every shipment perilous. Medics faced a brutal triage. Morphine was reserved for those with a chance of survival, while others were left to endure agony. The fear of being wounded was compounded by the fear of suffering without relief. Stories spread of men enduring hours or days of pain before help arrived, eroding morale. Pain became a strategic factor. Soldiers who trusted in care fought harder. Those who feared agony hesitated. The struggle to control pain was a war within the war. Medics bore the burden of impossible decisions, guided only by training and conscience. The shortage of morphine shaped not just medicine, but the very will to fight. Pain management was as vital to victory as bullets and bombs. The morphine syrette, a simple, collapsible tube with a needle, was a marvel of wartime innovation. Medics, or even wounded soldiers, could inject themselves quickly, no glass vials needed. After use, the empty syrette was pinned to the collar, a grim signal to prevent overdose. But the journey from factory to front was perilous. A single lost shipment meant weeks of pain for the wounded. Rationing became an art. Medics had to judge who needed relief most, knowing the next casualty might get nothing. Severe wounds got priority. Lesser injuries were left to endure. The syrette was a lifeline, but always stretched to breaking. Every dose was a gamble, every decision a test of nerve and compassion. In the chaos of war, even the best tools could only do so much. As morphine ran short, British and Commonwealth medics turned to a controversial alternative, heroin. More potent and easier to produce from limited opium supplies, heroin was issued in secret, hidden in supply logs and memoirs. Its use was a desperate measure, powerful but risky, with overdose a constant threat. Dosing was perilous, purity varied, and a mistake could be fatal. Yet in the face of overwhelming pain, ethical lines blurred. For medics, heroin was not a vice, but a last resort weapon against agony. The long-term risks seemed distant compared to the immediate screams of the wounded. While Allies rationed opiates, Nazi Germany issued Pervitin, methamphetamine, by the millions. Marketed as a miracle pill, it banished fatigue and dulled pain, turning soldiers into relentless fighters. The drug's euphoria masked exhaustion and injury, but the crash was brutal. Depression, paranoia, and addiction followed. Doctors warned of heart failure and psychosis, but the military pressed on, sacrificing long-term health for short-term gain. By 1941, Pervitin was restricted, but use continued, especially on the Eastern Front. The pill's promise was a double-edged sword. It won battles, but left soldiers broken. Pervitin was not a solution to pain, just a way to postpone its reckoning. The cost was paid in shattered bodies and minds. Before penicillin, infection was the real killer. Sulfa powder was the answer. Every GI carried a packet, sprinkle it on a wound, endure the burning pain, and hope to stave off deadly infection. Medics dusted it liberally, knowing the sting was a small price to pay for survival. Sulfa didn't numb pain, but it prevented the agony of septic wounds and amputations. The yellow powder became a symbol of World War II medicine, cruel to be kind. It transformed wounds from death sentences into survivable injuries. Infection control was pain management by prevention. Sulfa's legacy, saving lives by inflicting a moment's pain to avoid a lifetime's suffering. Amid the chaos of the Italian campaign, Dr. Henry Beecher faced a morphine shortage. In desperation, he gave a wounded soldier a saline injection, claiming it was a painkiller, and it worked. Beecher noticed soldiers reported less pain than civilians with similar injuries. He theorized that context mattered. For soldiers, a wound meant survival and escape from the front. This sense of relief had a real analgesic effect. Beecher's observations led to his groundbreaking paper on the placebo effect. He proved belief, expectation, and environment could trigger the brain's own pain relief. The mind, he found, was a powerful pharmacy. Morale and hope became as important as medicine. Beecher's discovery changed how we understand and treat pain. World War II's desperate measures offer vital lessons for modern survival. First, stock your medical kit well. Supplies can run out when you need them most. Infection control is as crucial as pain relief. Antiseptics and wound care save lives. Beware the lure of quick fixes. Powerful drugs can bring disaster if misused. Know your medicines, respect their risks, and avoid trading short-term relief for long-term harm. Most importantly, psychological resilience is a medical tool. Calm, confidence, and hope can reduce pain and prevent shock. The mind's power to modulate pain is a survival mechanism. The greatest resource in crisis is often the human spirit. Pain management in World War II was a story of desperation, innovation, and discovery. Medics fought a parallel war against agony, armed with limited tools and impossible choices. The struggle revealed the centrality of logistics, the ethics of desperation, and the dangers of quick chemical fixes. Dr. Beecher's insight, that belief could rival morphine, revolutionized medicine. Pain, he showed, is shaped by mind as much as body. The legacy: prepare, improvise, and never underestimate the power of hope. In the end, the most potent painkiller may lie within. The war against pain is fought as much in the mind as on the battlefield.